Welcome everybody. I am really pleased to be here. I've joined a few of P's sessions and I'm loving the offering and this sort of building our skill set in isolation and looking after our well-being. Today we're focusing on change, which I think we know is all around us. We are going to talk a little bit about how do I move my, here we go. We're going to talk a little bit about what do we mean by thriving through change, and then we're going to talk about two big tactics of how to ensure or how to help us thrive through change. P's just given you a little bit of an insight into what I do, but I've spent the last 20 plus years, I know I look incredibly young, working to start off with Cisco Systems and then UBS for 15 years, but managing global teams in tech and operations. And in the last 3 to 4 years have taken sort of the coaching element of managing those teams professionally with Mind Gym and on my own, going out to back into UBS, back into Cisco, Google, Facebook, all those great and good organizations, and some of the little ones as well, Twinings Tea. You know, we are all humans, we are all unique, and I apply the psychology to this to help us do the things that we do and stop falling into the traps. So today is about thriving through change. Let's have a look. What I want you to do, and it's very interactive, I want you to have a think about a change that you have either just been through, you've got coming up, or you're going through at the moment. Lockdown seems to be a really apt one, but it doesn't have to be that one. Name it in chat for me, and then also put a couple of words down that spring to mind when you think of that. It might be nervous, excited, trepidation, whatever it is that comes to mind, pop that into chat for me. So a change that you're thinking of, past or present or future, and a couple of words. So Bella's got career change, and I think, Bella, thanks for putting that because it's going to be really appropriate for a lot of us. And what do you think? Nervous, excited, uncertain, all of those words. I love it. How do I pronounce your name? I'm sure these are just initials. Katani, lockdown and anxious. Thank you for sharing that. What else have we got? Zach's got changing the way you interact with your daughter, frustrated and nervous. I think my husband's feeling the same way with our daughter at the moment, who's turning 10, and all those changes that are going on. Jill, working from home, lonely, and you miss the contact. Yeah, it's a massive change for us, working from home for a lot of people. I think we've all sort of craved it in the past. It doesn't necessarily come up as we thought it would with all of the advantages. Jackie, uncertainty. Where will we end up at the end of this? Jackie, can you just elaborate on that for me, please?
First of all, with the actual virus itself, you know, we all know we need a vaccine, and how long will that take? And as people, because I know a lot of people have shown this new sort of caring about other people and things like that, which is great, and I'm hoping that will last beyond this. Just how we're going to react as humans, really, and we've adapted pretty quickly to the changes that we've faced over these last 6 weeks, but longer term I don't know. And when we hopefully come out of this very soon, how will we behave differently or the same, or it's just not knowing. It's the not knowing.
Thank you for that, Jackie. You summed it up. It's the not knowing. It's a really big blocker to why we don't embrace and thrive through change, and we're going to touch on that throughout the next half an hour. So thank you for sharing. I just wanted you, it's a really good point, the uncertainty. What else we got? Lawrence, job change. Again, Bella, you are the same as Bella. Job change, same job, different approaches. Hopeful, trying to stay positive. Right. Well, lots of words. We are all unique. We're all human, which is what makes us fantastic. And we all think of these things and change in different ways. But one common thing tends to be, the research suggests, that we tend to think of change as a one-time event, something that we can prepare for, do it, and come out the other side and almost get back to normal. And I think with lockdown, COVID-19, it's proved to us that it's never quite the same again. I've got some words here to sort of help me explain this. A great, obviously, quote by Winston Churchill there. It's constant. So I've already said we tend to think of it as a one-off event. We tend to think that it's also temporary, but actually it's constant. Think of all the changes in the last week, in the last 24 hours. Think of all the changes even in the last 5-10 minutes since we've been on the call together. We now know each other a little bit better. We're introducing something else. The weather might have changed outside. Change is constant, and whether we like it or not, whether we are excited or nervous, it's happening. Okay. We tend to think that we can manage and complete it, but in actual fact, we can just guide and steer it. And the final thing, which is my link to the next sort of slide, is we tend to think, and when organizations do big organizational change that ultimately fails every single time, they put the skills in place, they put the resources in place, but what they don't put in place is the work on the mindset. And that is wholly important through change. Mindset can take you a long, long way. You may have the skills to make a change. You may have everything you need for that marriage coming up. But if you haven't got the right mindset, then it potentially will come a little bit unstuck. The day itself, not hopefully the whole marriage. So my daughter has been playing with my PowerPoint, so I've got a build here, which I didn't want. But this here is a psychologist called Nassim Taleb. I'll pop it in chat for you. Any psychologist that I talk about today, you can Google, you can YouTube. And the great thing now is you don't have to go and buy the book. You can YouTube it, get 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever floats your boat, however you learn. But Nassim Taleb talks about appetites for change, how ready we are for change. How do we cope with change as people, as individuals? And these are the three categories. The first one being fragile, like a broken egg. If a change comes your way, it freezes you, it paralyzes you, you become neurotic. An example might be, we are going to have a family Zoom meeting on Friday. And then one person in your family changes the time. Oh, we're not doing it on Zoom, we're doing it on Teams. Oh, crikey, I just can't cope with that change. The second category is to be robust, like the phoenix. If you change the phoenix or kill the phoenix in any way, it comes back as good as new. So that family member changes the Friday Zoom meeting. It's okay. I can cope. I'll rearrange all my children's activities. I'll rearrange my work day. I'll do this, and I can do it. I can cope with it, and I will still be as good as I plan to be. Or that job interview that's now virtual. The third category, which is the important one, and it's his concept, is anti-fragility. These are the people who, no matter what comes their way, they not only are as good as new, they actually grow from adversity. They grow from not knowing. They grow from making mistakes. He believes that exposure to risk makes us stronger. Okay. And the picture here is the Greek god Hydra. If you cut one of that serpent's heads off, it doesn't just grow it back, it grows two in its place. This thing gets stronger. It is growing and developing. He works with organizations such as Netflix, and every now and again, or on a regular basis, they'll take the network down in a department of Netflix. So everyone in the department has to get good at surviving and getting through it and learning how to get it back up. He calls it a chaos monkey. You can Google that too. He then has a gorilla, a chaos gorilla, where he takes the whole of the Netflix platform down. So what it means is all the employees of Netflix are used to it. They're getting good, they're prepared. And what we're talking about today is to be truly anti-fragile. Okay? Now, in chat, just let me know, bit of self-reflection. There's no good, there's no right or wrong, and we change through time. Where would you put yourself at the moment? Maybe think about the change that you named earlier on. So Malu, opening a hotel. Oh my God, I didn't see that one. Wow. Where would you put yourself on there at the moment? Would you say that you're in a fragile state? What do you think, Bella, about the new job? Have a think. There's no right or wrong, and have a growth mindset here. We're here to learn. We are here to grow. Bella, robust. Can you share a little bit about why you put yourself there, Bella?
I think I'm robust because I've been mentally preparing for the career change for about 6 months. So I'm nervous because it was harder than I expected it to be because I decided to do a career change mid COVID-19. But I'm still being positive about it, and I can see that it will be a good thing in the future.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I just lost you there. You just froze. But you're robust, and I get that. You've done your preparation. You're not fragile. It's not scaring you as much as it could do. You've done your preparation. So now I want you to all have a think about, what would it mean to you if we could move you through this session? What would the benefit to you be if you could move more towards anti-fragile, that person? And we all know someone, don't we? No matter what happens to them, they lose their job or something awful happens, they seem to grow, they seem to succeed out of it. So what would it mean to you? I want you to write down one benefit in chat. What would it mean to you if we could move you towards anti-fragile? And while you're doing that, I'm going to read some of the others. Fraggy robust. Zach, you can't have fraggy robust. He's going to go between the two. So and Zach, from that you're talking fragile and robust. So on the left hand side. Yeah, can see you nodding. Lawrence, always happy to be changing, learning. My concerns are always around doing the same things over and over and expecting different results. So where does that put you, Lawrence? Are you fragile, robust, or anti-fragile? Let me know. You can speak.
Oh, sorry. I think I'm nothing if not tenacious. I will keep going at something until I get results, and that could be, a task that needs doing in a week or something that takes years to learn.
Okay.
But I think this is where coaching comes into its own, doesn't it? When somebody can help you take a different perspective on things.
Yeah.
And say, you're doing great, keep going. Because sometimes when you keep going and keep going, you just think, man, what am I doing here? It's the same thing. And
yeah, okay.
That's probably the biggest thing that I tend to struggle with.
So for me, if I were to repeat that, you sound like you're firmly in robust. You are doing it. You're as good as you were before, and you're just, the change happens, it comes. You've gone on mute.
Oh, hang on.
You're off.
Unmuted.
Yep.
It's very kind of you to say so. I wouldn't put myself as fully robust. No, I'm as human as the next person, and have my moments. That's for sure.
Brilliant. Okay, so where are the benefits now? I want to know, what will you get if we can move you towards this anti-fragile state, this constant readiness, a little bit like Bella was explaining a minute ago, where actually she's firmly in robust because she's done the preparation. And a lot of this is just realizing that change is coming whether we like it or not, and we need to do some things on a regular basis to be ready for it. Okay. We've got Jackie, you work together better and more understanding. I love that. So you're embracing change more, and that's helping your relationships. Valerie, robust, anti-fragile. Feel creative and enjoying the opportunity to come up with new ideas for working differently. Frustrated by others who cannot move forwards. I love that, Valerie. Malu, we planned opening for a long time, but still when the day was there, April last year, you need to be ready for surprise things and do as you didn't do it before. So learning by your mistakes, Malu, great. And Malu, where would you put yourself? Oh, you've got robust. Brilliant. Okay, so let's start. Think about your change that you've got in your mind and think about the benefits that you can get from it. Now we're going to look at how. And the first one we're going to look at is some self-reflection, okay? Which we don't do enough of. So I have another question for you. List me, and I can't see under there, I want you to list me 5 things that make you thrive. You, Jackie, you, Valerie, you, Bella, you, Gavin, that make you thrive. And we don't do enough of this. Okay, so pop them into chat if you're comfortable doing so. If not, write them on a piece of paper. Maybe lockdown has helped you realize what you value. Our values and beliefs are our identity. And what we're going to talk about is when they're challenged in some way, we can feel threatened, and it prevents us moving forwards with change and embracing it. So in chat, if you can, or on a piece of paper, 5 things that make you thrive. It might be keeping fit. It might be being with people, socializing. It might be connectivity. You know, am I in the moment? When my children speak to me, when my partner speaks to me, am I really there, or am I busy doing other things? What's important to you? What makes you thrive? Valerie, I can see you nodding away. Jill, brilliant. Meeting people, being part of a team, clear goals, running an outdoor activity. Fantastic. And some people who do this regularly can just rattle these off really quickly. And others of us, I'm one of them, actually we find it quite difficult because it's not something we do on a regular basis. We don't think about what makes us thrive. Valerie, breaks from routine, shared success, new challenges, being with positive people and family, and yoga. I've taken up yoga myself. Not really keeping up with it though already. Jackie, confidence, important to you, understanding other people's value, other people's weaknesses, keeping fit, looking forward to things. Gavin, meditation, cooking, immediate family time, achieving success. I love it. So we're already starting to think of these things. Now, when I've done this, I always come up with choice. Choice is really important to me. I took a very generic university degree because I wanted choice. I didn't want to be pigeonholed. However, in reality, when I overlay past experiences and I overlay some challenges that I have, choice actually doesn't make me thrive. Too much choice and I can't really go forward. So at the moment I'm like, great, I've got so much choice, I can plan my day. Easing, lockdown, not good, I'll be having to do school runs. But in reality I thrive on routine. And there is a psychologist called Daniel Gilbert, and I will write his name in here, and he has written, or his theory, his research is called Stumbling on Happiness. And his concept is that what we think makes us thrive and we need and is our value actually isn't always the same as what it is in reality. So my example, I crave choice. I think it's really important to me. But in reality, choice doesn't make me thrive. Other things make me thrive. And this goes back to, we need to constantly reevaluate and proactively think about what makes us thrive. You may have been thriving more in lockdown or less. Write a list of things. Why is that so? Why were you thriving before and not now? So Daniel Gilbert, Stumbling on Happiness. It isn't always what we think it is. Okay. So top tips on self-awareness as I wait for my PowerPoint to catch up with me. Self-reflection, regular self-reflection. This changes. What was important to you 6 months ago or a year ago might not be as important to you today. Be proactive about this. Remember, we don't just want to plan for one change coming, do it, get through it and get to the other side. We want to be ready for any change that's coming. Okay? Do you like my movement there? I'm quite liking that. And that's going to help us get ready to thrive through change, not endure it. Genuinely thrive, embrace it. Like I think it was Malu or Jackie was saying earlier, why isn't anyone else moving forward through this? Why are they all in the background waiting? Because they're not realizing that some of their values and beliefs, what they think makes them thrive, actually is being challenged by some change. So it's preventing them from moving forwards. We're not going to be that person. We're going to be anti-fragile. We're going to be knowing regularly, proactively, what are our values and beliefs. So when a change comes, we are really quick to say, right, I can identify I might lose my run every day or keeping fit. Right, how can I protect that and move forwards with the change and embrace it? Okay, let's go through to the next section. This is a picture of the brain, if you didn't guess. And I don't know whether you know or not, but 98% of our thinking is unconscious and just 2% is conscious thought. Now, you probably all heard the story or not, but in the dark ages, years and years gone by, we needed this fight or flight. We needed to be 98% in the unconscious, because if a grizzly bear or saber-toothed tiger were coming towards you, you haven't got time to think about it. You've just got to do it. Protect yourself. We are hardwired to protect ourselves from harm, from stress, from anything that can hurt us in any way. Now, back then it was good, but now it gets in the way, and it is called unconscious bias. Okay. And this can really lead us to not embracing change. And I'll give you some examples. Who recognizes some of these? I know, was it Jackie? You said one right at the beginning. I just need to know. I'm happy with the change you're giving me, but I just need to know what's going to happen. A focus on the negatives. Why do we focus on the negatives apart from the National Lottery when we just focus on a positive outcome? It's the only one. And I don't want to make mistakes. We're hardwired not to want to make mistakes. Think of anything that comes your way. You want to get it right, and you want to get it right first time. But these aren't good, okay? These are 98%. We automatically think these thoughts. So I now want you to think about the change you've got that you've been working on over the last 20 minutes. And I want you to now in chat use one of these things to tell me, how can you focus on the positives? Or how can you look at what you do know in this change? Or what can you learn by making a mistake? So grab your chat box again. Hopefully your fingers aren't too tired, and have a go. This is going to be moving you to becoming more anti-fragile. How can we embrace the change and thrive through it? Reframe mistakes as mistakes. I love it. Give it a go and go again. If you think about a baby, okay, let's say we're an organization that is producing the baby model, okay, and someone says, oh, let's make it walk. Well, babies fall over 25 to 30 times an hour. Someone at some point is going to say, what silly person tried to make Mark II make it walk? Why don't we stick to our core competency of crawling? But we want to grow, we want to develop, and the only way we can do that is by making mistakes. It's normal and it's good. We need to think of them as mistakes. I love that, Lawrence. Zach's got to be healthier is a change, and I could change my internal language from I should to I must. And also think about not what I'm going to lose from it, Zach. So I'm going to lose time, I'm going to lose all those lovely treats. Think about the positives. What are you going to gain from it? Because remember, that unconscious bias tends us to focus on the negatives. We need to be focusing constantly on the positives, on opportunities, okay, not losses. Valerie, use the recognition of negatives to open conversations and how to change them into positives. I love it. So really bringing it to the forefront, all those negatives that your unconscious bias is bringing, how can I flip them into a positive? I love that. Bella, the positive, regardless of how long it takes me to find a job, I'll keep learning from interviews, conversations, and what type of companies I can connect with. That is brilliant, Bella. Thank you for that. Gavin, most negatives can be turned into positives. Dyson would not have invented his vacuum cleaner. Over 1,000 prototypes. I didn't know that. Thank you for that piece of information, Gavin. I love it. Another really great one is on the mistakes front is, if ever you've played a video game if you think about Pac-Man, we've probably all heard of Pac-Man, all those mistakes you make, okay, you get killed. Oh my God. Imagine now a video game where you didn't make any mistakes. It wouldn't actually be fun, right? It would be quite boring. But they are very clever to keep you motivated because they put goals, they tell you your progress, they give you recognition, or you've got 3 gold stars. So think about that. It can be enjoyable to make mistakes and learn from it if you have your mindset in the right place. Okay. Now, there's a common thing with all of your comments here. And what it is, it's about knowing what you're in control of and what you're not in control of. And the psychologist here, it's the last psychologist I'm introducing you to today, is called Rotter. And he talks about an internal locus of control and an external locus of control. So people with an internal locus of control are aware that they are in control of their destiny. They make things happen. Okay, so think of that truly anti-fragile person, that person who you know, who just thrives on change. Whatever happens to them, good or bad, they seem to grow and get better from it. They tend to have an internal locus of control. There's some things on YouTube, 25 things a successful person does. These people know what's in their control and what isn't. Stop sweating about the things that you can't change. That family member who's changed that Zoom meeting, forget it, it's done. How can we make the best out of it? Maybe I can get some work done that I previously didn't have time for because the meeting's changed. People who have an external locus of control are people who tend to think, well, just luck of the draw. I didn't get the job because it was luck of the draw. An internal locus person would be, do you know what? I didn't get that job because I didn't prepare enough and I wasn't ready. I understand why. Okay. Where do you think you are at the moment? Put internal or external. Think about a change that is happening. Where is your default? A little bit of self-awareness for you now. Anna Lee, internal. Brilliant. So you are aware of what you're in control of and you're aware of what you're not in control of. Brilliant. Bella, internal. I had a terrible interview the other day, but it was my first. Go on, you say it, Bella. Unmute yourself and say it. It's better to hear it from you.
I had a terrible interview the other day, and I thought it was a chat, not an interview, so I wasn't fully prepared for it. But I learned from it. I learned now that I need to prepare a lot more than I originally thought, and I'm on LinkedIn doing practice questions and things like that. So I'm just learning that I can take forward.
Fantastic. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Gavin, varies daily depending on my mood. I try to make things happen, but at times my mood dictates negativity. Gavin, can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, well, it's more or less what it says, really. I think there's times when when I'm in a positive mood, it's much easier to be in charge of my own destiny and make things happen. But if I'm feeling negative, then you tend to maybe withdraw a bit and allow things to happen to you. But I think knowing that's what's happening helps, because then you can try and get over it, find your coping strategies to get over it. But there are times where you get dictated by your negativity, unfortunately.
Yeah. And again, 98% of our thinking time, and it has to be that way because we have so many pieces of information, millions of pieces of information coming in. We need that 98% to just function. But it is unconscious bias that leads us to these negative thoughts. If we get good and proactive at self-awareness and remembering that we are in control of certain things, it becomes, the more you do it, there's something called Charles Hewig, the habit loop. It's great. Look it up on YouTube. The more you do something, the quicker it becomes. We'll have a go. Everybody fold your arms for me. I can't see your arms, Gavin, because you're too low down, but that's okay. Right. Fold your arms the other way around now. All right. Bit tricky. Feels actually a bit uncomfortable, right? Been sitting here for a second or two. Right. Hands by your side. One more time. Hands by your side. And back into the uncomfortable position. Bit quicker, P, on the stopwatch there. Jackie, much quicker. Everyone, much quicker. You might have a sneaky go back at the comfortable way. This is change. And you have to keep practicing unless you are doing your self-awareness, unless you are conscious like Gavin, that some days you are just feeling a little bit negative and you're more inclined, that unconscious bias is going to kick us in the butt a bit more. It's tricky, but the more you do it, if I ask you to do it one more time, back into the uncomfortable position, it gets quicker, it gets easier. We're still going to have a sneaky go in the comfortable position, but it gets easier the more and more we do it. So these two things, self-awareness and your mindset, play a huge part in how fragile we are to change. A couple of things here, and then I'll give you some top tips at the end. So the top one, with all your pictures, I tend to focus on the negatives really quickly every time. What are the opportunities? Someone suggests a change to you. What are the opportunities? Someone changes a job interview from Zoom to Teams. I've never used Teams before. What are the opportunities? Oh, I might learn Teams in the process. I need to know. We've all felt that. I'm happy with the change as long as you tell me what's going to happen. Instead, what do I know? What am I in control of? So I can embrace this, even if I don't know all of the answers. And thirdly, I don't want to make a mistake, but what can I learn? We need to make mistakes. A baby is not given a manual and suddenly they walk. They fall to the right. Oh, I mustn't lean too far to the right. Fall to the left. I need to stand in the middle. So a positive thing, and doing this on a regular basis will help you. It becomes easier to do it. So top tips for mindset. What is in my control? I want to have an internal locus. What is in my control and what isn't? Don't sweat the stuff I'm not in control of. Focus on the opportunities every single time. Get good at it, get quick at it, folding your arms in the wrong way. And reach out. It's the first time I'm mentioning this, but it's a big, we have a network around us and we can reach out to different people for different things. Sometimes if you reach out to someone who you don't normally go to, they can give you a really fresh perspective on things, bigger picture view. So in a nutshell, we've got self-reflection. Be proactive about it. Change is not something that you can plan, prepare for, do it and get to the other side. It's coming thick and fast. The world is changing faster than ever before, yet it will never be changing as slow again. So we need to be agile. Think of my little ditty here. And then you can thrive through change. And on the fighting the bias, what is in my control and what isn't? Focus on the opportunities quickly every time. What can I learn from it? What are the opportunities instead of just what am I going to lose? And finally, reach out and to different people, potentially not always the same person. That's all I've got for you today. If anyone has any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat now, or I'm sure P can share my email address. And I'm going to hand you all back to P, but thank you for being great participants today. I've enjoyed meeting you all, and hopefully you've taken, oh no, do you know what? I'm going to do one thing, 1 second. I want you to write in chat for me one thing you are going to do differently based on what we've talked about today. You are 66% more likely to go through with that change just by writing it down. So one thing you're going to do differently when it comes to embracing change based on what we've learned today. Faisal, what is it called on YouTube? I missed the name. So you have, there's been a few psychologists we talked about Faisal. You've got Nassim Taleb, it's further up in the chat. You've got Rotter, let me write Rotter. He's internal locus. You have got Charles, we didn't talk much about Charles Duhigg, but he is the habit loop. And there's some hilarious YouTube things on here with marshmallows and children. That sounds a little bit rude, but it's not. Okay, Zach, be more conscious of when I'm negative. I love that. And I think Gavin was a huge help in that today, of bringing that to life. Thank you, Gavin. Jackie, talk to people I don't normally speak to. Brilliant to get fresh perspectives. Bella, when I feel uncertain about the future and how long it will take, focus on the now and what's in my control. I love that. Annalie, I'm going to look for the opportunities straight away. Opportunity. What can I get from it? What are the positives? What have we got? Reframe to ask what are the opportunities. Thank you, Lawrence. Who have I missed? Jill, encourage people in the office to focus on the positives. It's so often negative environment. And Jill, again, we can't be angry with our teams because we're hardwired to be negative, because we're hardwired to look out for harm and stress. And that comes across as negativity. But we just need to remind them as leaders to be positive. Love that. Valerie, encourage the naysayers to be more open-minded rather than giving in and accepting their position. I love that. Again, thank you so much, everyone. You've been great participants. And I properly am handing back to P now.
Thank you very much, Claire. That was absolutely brilliant workshop. Thank you, and for everybody participating and making it so engaging as well. I think we can all go away knowing what we can do a little bit better to make sure that we can really thrive in this changing environment. So thank you for sharing that. Claire, I know, is very happy to hear from any of you. So if any of you would like to connect with Claire, we will share her contact details with the follow-up email that we'll send you with a copy of this video today. And you can also find her on LinkedIn. She is Claire Trehearne, exactly as it says on her name at the bottom of the screen there. So do connect. We have got some more motivation in isolation events coming up later this week, and next week we've got breath work. If anybody is interested in learning how to create some amazing content on social media and how to utilize social media to keep connected with others or clients or colleagues or suppliers or whatever it may be, we have got a workshop happening on Thursday. And then next week we are looking at how to really reach out to your employees. We are now faced with long-term social distancing plans in place, and what does that mean for you in your work environment? What does that mean for you socially? How can you stay engaged and connected, and some of the tips and tricks of the things that you can start to look at and putting in strategy, long-term strategy. So we've got that coming up, and then we have got some personal coaching through Kiki Kirkby, and we have also got Juliet coming on to talk about how to create a life that you love. So there is some really wonderful content coming up over the next few weeks. For anyone who's missed anything, I know it's really tricky sometimes to come and join these events, so please do have a look back at our website, zestglobalevents.co.uk. There is a motivation in isolation page on there, which there's a button and you can click there to watch back any of the videos. So please do go and have a look at those. Thank you again very much to you, Claire, for coming on today and for delivering a really fantastic workshop. And thank you everybody for joining. We hope that we will see you again at some of the events. And for anyone who hasn't had enough or wants to talk about what you've just learned today, we've got our coffee shop at 3:30. So please feel free to drop in and have a chat with us then. But in the meantime, thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you again soon.